Welcome to the Self-Growth Nerds podcast. I'm your host, Marie, a courage coach, creative soul, and adventure seeker. Since through hiking the Pacific Crest Trail in 2019, I'm on a mission to help you embrace your most confident self so you can achieve your dreams too. If you're eager for deep conversations, big questions, and meaningful connections, join me on the quest to discovering how we can create a more magical and memorable life. Hello, nerds! How are you? I'm really good. I just got off some coaching calls and I always feel super energized after these calls. Today, I want to talk about how to be confident in your life choices. Because that's what many of my clients struggle with. That's what many of you who write to me seem to struggle with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to describe what you do. I'm going to get really clear on what the problem is, and then tell you about the solution. Okay? So first, let's look at this from up close. What you do is you put so much pressure on finding the right answer. Being certain that what you are deciding to do is the right choice. Before you do it, or after you've done it, you obsess over, was it the right decision, or did I jump too quick? Was it a good idea? Okay, you imagine that the right answer will feel good. That there will be like yes, this is what I needed to do. Or this is what I need to do. Let's do it. I'm going to be happy forever from now on. You get a little obsessive about it. You try to gather enough proof that you're going to be okay. That if you take this path, you're going to be fine. It's like when I was reading reviews about waterproof gear. Like I would spend hours reading reviews to make damn sure that in the future I would not get wet. Because what's worse than being wet when it's cold? But I got wet. Because hint, wink, wink, waterproof gear is never waterproof for hours, okay? It's all a myth. And it's the same thing with life. Like every decision you make is going to have challenges. There's going to be positives and quote unquote negatives to every path you take. It's just a matter of how you look at them. But what you do is you want to know exactly how it's going to go before you do it. So you imagine all the future scenarios and how you would react and what you would do if this and that happened. Okay? You spend a lot of time thinking about how it could go wrong instead of thinking about how it could go right. So you wait, you overthink, and you do nothing. Or you do something, but then you indulge in self-doubt. So you're not really present. You make a jump, but then you're like, oh shit, I shouldn't have done it. Then you run that narrative in your mind. I shouldn't have done it. Why did I do this? It was a bad idea. Okay? I'm going to give you 3 examples. First example is investing in yourself. Okay, we have like an amount of money in our bank account, and there's so many ways to spend it. What's the right way to spend it? Do I want a new laptop? Or do I want to invest in myself? Or do I want to get new clothes? What about like an Apple Watch? What about going on a trip? And it gets confusing. There's so many things. Now, okay, let's see. I want a new laptop. Now that I got the laptop, there's like this doubt. Was it the right one? Should I have gotten a different one, like a more powerful one? Or maybe like the lesser version that was not as expensive? We spin in that doubt. When it comes to investing in coaching, for example, so many people come to me and they're interested in working together, But they kind of want to know exactly how it's going to go and what the result is going to be before they join. But that's like wanting a guarantee of happily ever after. That shit doesn't exist. You're going to get what you're going to put in. If you think it's going to work, then it's going to work. I'm going to give you another example. Committing to a partner. There's also so many possibilities right now with Tinder and Bumble and Hinge and all of those things. And you can also meet people like, at the bar, at the coffee shop, at the climbing gym. So many different possibilities. So you're like, when you're with someone, there's like a voice in the back of your mind. Is this the right person for me? Do they tick all of my boxes? Could I be happier with someone else? You have this running through your mind when you're like on the first date, on the second date. But for some people, it's also like 10 years into the relationship. Always not quite sure. And then my third example is with your job. The question, should I quit my job or should I stay? Now, I have many different clients in different situations when they start working with me. One of them says they've been thinking about leaving their job for years, but they've been waiting for an epiphany that's going to confirm that, yes, it's a good idea. Yes, it's safe to leave. Like they think that they're going to have like an idea that's going to go, and suddenly make them feel like it's okay to go, that it's not dangerous. Then I'm thinking of someone else who told me they were traveling for a while. They left their job, went traveling for a while, and they thought they thought that while they were traveling, an idea was going to come to them. They were waiting for the right answer. Then it had been a while and the answer was just not coming. And then there's another client who left their job and then was wondering if they did the right thing. Like thinking over and over again if they should have acted differently and feeling like they did something crazy. And then one last example of a client who gave their notice to their job and like started doubting themselves. Is this irresponsible? Is this irresponsible? Because other people were questioning their decision. Okay, so that's what you do. If you're like nodding your head, yes, that's me, then turn your ears on. I don't know if you can say that. Listen up. The solution. Let's talk about the solution. Got a few steps for you. Step 1. Sit with your core. Sit with yourself in silence and ask yourself, if no one cared, if everyone approved, if your success and happiness were guaranteed, no matter what would you do? Sit with your journal. Notice all the thoughts that come to you. Oh, I should be grateful. Like what I have is good. Like, oh, I can stay a little longer. Oh, my parents or my peers are going to think it's crazy. Like it's definitely crazy. Like who would do that? Oh, it's too complicated. Like I'm not going to be able to sustain myself. All of those thoughts. Notice what comes up. Also notice that none of these are facts. They're just words you decide to believe. Because you've heard them, because someone else in your life believes them, because that's what's portrayed in society, but they're optional. All of these thoughts are optional. So notice that, and then ask yourself, if I trusted myself wholeheartedly If I trusted that everything would work out, what would I do? And trust the answer that comes up. Now, if you struggle to answer these questions, I want to suggest that maybe you're disconnected from your core. And that getting to know yourself on a deeper level will be essential, or maybe not essential, but will make it so much easier to make decisions. And that's why the first months of Brave and Bold are exactly about that. In my program, we stop before making any life decisions and we go inward to truly understand what matters to you, what lights you up, and how your brain works, and the unique ways that it gets in the way so that you can make aligned decisions. At the end of this podcast episode, I'm going to add a clip from one of my clients who tells you about why this part of the work is so important, how powerful it can be to dive deep into who you are and to truly understand how you work, how your fears work, so that you can transcend that and really be the leader of your life. So that's step one. Sitting with your core, like letting the waters settle so you can see clearly, so you can see your truth clearly. Sometimes it's hard to do on your own. Sometimes you need a little help, and that's fine. Step two, once you've connected with your core, you got to get back to the surface and make a decision and own that decision. At least for a set period of time. For a set period of time, you do not let confusion and doubt enter the room. Because confusion is not real. It's a trick that your mind plays on you to keep you safe, to keep you in inaction, to keep you in safe, to keep you in the known, to keep you in the cave. When your primitive brain sees you venturing out, wanting to do something different, it's like presses this button. Let's send confusion. Let's press the button and send confusion in there so that they back up. Okay? Don't let confusion enter the room. Make a decision instead of waiting for an epiphany. Epiphanies don't exist. There's just a spur of the moment. Clarity comes from taking action. So don't believe what you see in the movies, something will fall from the sky. No, clarity doesn't come from overthinking. It comes and waiting. It comes from taking action. And that's the part in Brave and Bold where I give my clients an adaptable step-by-step process to follow, to create a vision for their life, and make sure they make real progress in that direction. Okay? I give them the process that I have followed. It's super adaptable to make sure that I don't fuck around and go in circle. That I make decisions and learn from them and reassess along the way. Then, is that step 3? I'm not sure if it's a step or just a way of thinking. Release the pressure of the illusion that there is one right answer. Again, it's the epiphany belief. Release that. We're not in school. There's not one right answer. And then I love this quote that I heard somewhere. I don't remember where. There's no right decision, only the decision that you make right. So, in this moment, how can I make this decision feel right? In what ways was this the best decision I could have ever made in my whole life? In what ways is this going to serve me? And then I hear some of you in the back of my mind go, but Marie, what if I regret it? What if I regret it? What if I make a mistake? You gotta be willing to take the risk. At the end of the day, it's just an emotional risk. You're just afraid of how you're going to feel. Feeling regret. Regret is not a real thing. It's a story that we tell ourselves. And we don't have to believe that story. Regret is not a fact. It's just like your brain going like, I should have done this instead. I would have been happier in that alternate universe. But you don't know that. You don't know if you would have been happier in that alternate universe. You don't know what would have happened. It's just a story that you tell yourself that makes you feel regret. It's not real. You get to choose to tell yourself a different story that doesn't make you feel regret. Okay? So you got to be willing to take the risk to feel difficult emotion. Willing to take the risk because I trust in my ability to figure it out. Yes, I might feel regret in the future, and then I'm going to manage my mind out of it. And I'm going to feel hope instead. I'm going to feel determination instead. I trust in my ability to figure it out. Okay, I'm going to take the 3 examples again and see how we can look at them differently. So investing in yourself. In last year in 2021, I invested $30,000 to learn to become a coach and a business owner. Okay, to learn new skills and to strengthen my confidence. $30,000. It's the biggest investment I've ever made in my whole life. Now, I had a choice between indulging in doubt, like, oh shit, I made a mistake, that's so much money, I should have made a different choice, like what if I cannot make that money back, like, oh my god, like what are my parents gonna think, it's so irresponsible. Okay, option A. Or option B, I decided to go with, let's see how I can make the most of this. Let's see like what I can make out of my life. I'm excited about this investment. I'm excited about everything that I'm learning. This is the best decision I've ever made. I'm changing my life. Oh, do you feel the difference? I mean, the situation is the same. It's just the way you think about it is completely different. And you know what? I trust in myself. Trust in myself because I've lost money in the past and made it again. When I came back from London, I had almost nothing in my bank account. I made the money back. When I came back from the Pacific restaurant, let me tell you, I had almost nothing in my bank account again, and I made the money back. I made the money back even faster. And in 2021, I've invested some money. I've already made it back. It's not a big deal when you believe that you can, when you trust in your ability. Now, people who want to join Brave and Bold, I know many of you do, have a choice between wonder endlessly if it's the right decision or make a decision, make the most of it. Come see what it's all about. And some of you will think, but Marie, what if I lose money? Like, whether it be Brave and Bold or anything else that you might invest in. What if I lose money? What if it's the wrong decision? What if it's the wrong direction and I lose money? It doesn't matter if you lose money. Like I said, as long as you trust in your capacity to make that money again and more. And what's funny is that quite often, well, in my experience, what I've invested in, the coaching I've invested in, has helped me have the confidence to make more. So basically, I needed to spend money to make more money. See? And that doesn't mean you should like spend your resources blindly, like someone would on a racehorse, like blind faith, just because you have a good feeling. No, it's deep. It's a deep inner knowing that you can go after your desires. You can make it work because you are strong. You can move through any storm. And you know that if you fall, you can rise up again. And you're willing to get dirty for the life that you want. That's what it's about. And sure, like, I've invested that money. And I knew my parents could help if needs be. and I'm also debt-free, and I'm white. All of these are circumstances that make it easier for me to feel secure in my decision. But circumstances like this are not an end-all be-all. Circumstances only go so far in creating that security. At the end of the day, that security happens in your thoughts. And if you don't believe me, I had a client who had multiple six figures in savings, and they felt totally insecure. They were totally paralyzed by the fear of not having enough. So yes, material security helps, but it's not the main thing. The main thing is, how much do you trust yourself? How much do you trust yourself to show up when it's hard? To keep going? To come up with ideas? To try and fail and try again until it works? To have thoughts like, I'll find a way no matter what, I'm resourceful, has so much more value than having material security. I'm going to say that again. Having thoughts like, I'll find a way no matter what, I'm going to do this because I'm excited, and whatever happens, I'm resourceful, I'll find a way, that is worth so much more than having material security without the emotional security, the inner security. Okay? Moving on to the second example. And you'll see they all are similar when you look at it, when you zoom out. Committing to a partner. So when you question who you want to be with, you gotta connect with your core. Just like when you are thinking about investing money, you gotta connect with your core and ask yourself, what do I want right now? What's most important for me right now? What do I feel called to? So with the relationship example, what's most important to me in the relationship? Don't think about the one that you're in right now or the ones that you've been in the past. What's most important to you in the relationship? Respect, generosity, presence. And do you have this in your relationship right now? And if the answer is yes, you renew your subscription to that relationship for a set amount of time. Choose to be with this person for the next year. All right. And you let go of the idea that there is the one. The one doesn't exist. And like Dan Savage says, the best you can do is 0.68. You commit to the person that you're with and focus on what they do have. Squeeze the juice out of that lemon instead of poking all of the lemons. And what they don't have, you can go get elsewhere. Like I always say, I love to have like deep conversations about personal growth, and it's not Ollie's thing at all. I get it somewhere else. That's fine. Let go of the idea of the perfect relationship. And I want to circle back to the example about investing money. There's no right way to invest your money. And there's no one right answer as to how to invest your money. You can find like 1 million different books that will tell you to do it differently. Okay? So who do you want to trust? Do you want to trust like that mentor in that book, or your cousin, or that person that you met at work? Or do you want to trust yourself? Do you want to make your own journey? Yes, you might make a mistake. At the end of the day, you can get inspiration from all those books and what those people tell you, but you lose yourself. You lose your truth the more you listen to everyone and believe everything that everyone says, even though you think they know more than you. You have to be careful with that because you dilute your truth. The more you listen to others, the more you dilute your truth. So stop. Sometimes you got to stop taking input. You got to take an input break. Stop listening to your friends. Stop listening to people on social media. Stop listening to me. Stop listening to all those podcasts and those books, and sit with yourself in silence. Decide what you want and own it. Now, last example, quitting your job. Same thing. Sit with your core and decide what you want to do. It's like honey. If no one was to judge you, what would you do? If I was to tell you that in 5 years from now, you'd be completely fine, what would you do? Would you stay at your job or would you leave? Then listen to that answer and then rip the Band-Aid off. Either stay and own it or quit and own it. If you stay, you ask yourself questions like, instead of asking yourself questions like, was this the right decision, which is a yes or no question, you ask more open questions like, how can I enjoy myself here? And you might be surprised what you find out. How can I wonder, get curious. I wonder how I can enjoy myself here. One of my clients decided to stay at their job, even though when we started working together, they thought they were going to leave. They decided to stay. And recently they were like, I feel so much more lighthearted about it. It's just a job. I choose to be here because it finances my other hobbies. It allows me to have brain space at the end of the day and have money to go hiking. Okay? And then I have another client who quit. But if you quit, you got to own it. And instead of asking, was this the right decision? You ask, how can I make this work? Get curious. Ooh, okay, I've done that. It's scary. It's exciting. Now, how can I make this work? And my client who quit their job, I have quite a few actually, one of them said, I'm figuring it out. I'm kind of excited that I don't have a safety net. I know I can make money in all kinds of other ways. I realize that I have so much to offer. I have so much value to offer in my current job that are transferable, but also outside of my current job. I hadn't seen how much tools I had in my toolbox. That's a better way of thinking. There's no in between. You either stay or you quit. Otherwise, if you have one foot in one place and another foot in another place, you're not making the most out of anything. You're in that messy middle that sucks. So that's it. That's it for today. We talked about how you question your life choices, how you obsess about whether or not they're right or wrong. But there is no right or wrong. There's only the decisions that you make right. So get to work making it right. And do not underestimate the value of knowing yourself. Knowing yourself deeply. That's going to make it so much easier to make decisions. Knowing what lights you up. Also knowing how your brain works when it's afraid. How it messes up your plans when it's afraid. How it keeps you small. This way, you got to make sure you make decisions from the right place, from the core, not from fear or not from trauma. Now, I'm going to let Erin, my client, tell you about why that matters and what that part of the program allowed her, how it made her feel and how it's going to impact the rest of her life. And then I'm going to be back.
So I was very pleasantly surprised by all the different facets of it, whether it was community or working on watching the videos or having these community coaching sessions, the ability to talk one-on-one. There's just so much, and I'm not sure that I knew all of that coming in, and I was very pleasantly surprised.
Oh, that's good. That's good. And what would you say is your favorite part
of the whole thing?
Yeah.
I would have to say it is the coursework, so to say, the all the different steps that you have provided through videos and worksheets. And I'm proud of like the amount of time I've taken to like really dive into those and like really gain everything I can, or like the amount of time investment and like what you can really pull from like a simple exercise. And I have like a thick stack of papers because I'm like a tactile person, and I print out all the ones that I can, and looking back at like all these different avenues I've explored within myself and my life and my values. Um, it's been like creating this whole journal of like stuff about myself that I either didn't know or like, um, yeah, it's a lot of stuff about myself that I feel like I'm creating a journal of getting to know me.
Mm.
Because I was really excited to get to like the doing part of this module. And now that we're there, I'm like so thankful, or this process. Now that we're there, I'm so thankful for like the months that we spent really being introspective, and like with that needing like a lot of gentleness and like compassion for yourself, because I think when that goes too quickly, we can like not get the true answer out of ourselves. And I feel like I got some true answers from myself about my values and understanding like some of my common fears and how to like really examine those.
Mm.
Um, I feel um, much more like secure
Mm.
um, in just like my well-being, actually. um, I think it was definitely a theme of life to get very caught up in overthinking and unnecessary suffering, guilt because of something I don't need to be guilty about, feeling bad about feeling guilty about feeling selfish, or all these like piling things. And like that was like a big theme of life for sure. Um, and I don't know that I've realized how different it is. Um, but if I really think about it, like there's been a huge change in like being able to just manage my mind, um, and with that feeling like secure in like moving through life, my
Mhm.
everyday. And the impact on my life is like everywhere. One, it's like if I'm not tripping myself up with these small things that are pretty much just in my head, I have better relationships. I'm able to be more present. I'm able to look at my goals without like looming fear of letting myself down, but like um, instead with like an excitement to like
Mhm.
work towards these things, knowing that I'm gonna like be okay whether I'm making a ton of progress or slower, that I'm just gonna be okay on the inside.
Okay, thank you, Erin. I hope this was insightful for you. This whole episode actually was packed with so much gems that are easy to forget if you don't have, if this is not a natural way of thinking for you. If you tend to be insecure and anxious and to indulge in a lot of self-doubt. And that's why I want you to apply to Brave and Bold, because Brave and Bold is an immersion in that way of thinking. You jump in the pool, you spend 6 months swimming in that pool, and then when you get out, you're a new person. You have a new way of thinking that serves you so much more. A brave and bold way of thinking. So go ahead and apply. The application takes 2 minutes. And then you're going to get access to the introduction workshop, where I tell you a lot more about my framework, my 3-part framework to creating a more fulfilling life for yourself. And you're going to be able to watch other videos from clients like Erin, who talk about their experience, what it was like for them to make the jump, to make the investment, and what they got out of this experience with me and in this amazing community of outdoor-minded, kind-hearted, creative souls. All right, have a beautiful week. You just listened to the Self-Growth Nerds podcast. Make sure to subscribe and to find me on Instagram at Self-Growth Nerds. If you want individual help developing the confidence to create a more meaningful and exciting life, visit selfgrowthnerds.com today to learn how. Finally, I want to thank my friend Etienne Galano for editing this, and I want to thank you, kind-hearted souls, for growing into your truest, most courageous selves every day and making this world a better, more beautiful place. My name is Marie, and I will talk to you next week.